Hi everybody, this is Boog Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Gold Label Walmart exclusive Superman figure. So before we take a look at Superman, let's go ahead and take a look at all of the accessories that he comes with. So first up, instead of a regular stand, he does come with a flight stand. Up next, he comes with his data file. Instead of the Action Comics 1000 cover, we get some new art here on this card. And if you want to read that, go ahead and pause that now. One weird thing is mine is really scuffed up. Mine has some black showing through right here. You get some brown scuffs right here. That's really weird. I've never had that on any DC Multiverse card before. Up next, you get a set of open hands, or flying hands if you want to call them that. These are exactly the same as the Action Comics 1000 Superman figure. I do wish we would have gotten a new set of hands with this instead of reused from that one, because looking at them now, I feel like they're just a little bit tiny. I don't know if it's me or not, but yeah, I feel like these look a little bit tiny on him in comparison to the rest of his body. And finally, he comes with a left-fisted hand and this right accessory holding hand, but you don't get any sort of accessories to put in this hand. The previous version, the Action Comics 1000 Superman, it actually had a trigger finger. It looks like this is the same hand, but the finger is just a little bit closer to the rest of his fingers, so it doesn't look like he's holding an invisible gun. So this one actually does look better than that. But yeah, I would have preferred this to actually be fisted and not an accessory holding hand. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the head sculpt. So taking a look at this head sculpt, I think McFarlane Toys did a good job at updating the Action Comics 1000 head. This is the Action Comics 1000 head reused. It just has a little bit of different paint to it, and I think it looks really good. I think McFarlane Toys has refined their print tech a little more, and the eyes, eyebrows, and mouth look a lot better than on the first version. The hair is still sculpted really nicely, and you get that really nice blue shading over top of it. But man, it is so glossy, it's not even funny. I'm definitely going to have to spray a matte finish over that to dull it just a little bit, because it is just way too shiny. The only real complaint that I have with this head sculpt is they did paint some red right here on his cheeks, and it makes his cheekbones really pronounced. I feel like they went just a little bit too heavy with that shading there, though. I feel like it could have been just a little bit more subtle. So here is the Action Comics 1000 Superman next to the new gold label version, so you can see the differences on this figure. And I do like how the old one had a little bit less pronounced shading there on the cheekbones. He did have just a little bit of shading, but it was more subtle than on this new version. Surprisingly, the eyes on this one actually are printed on. I thought it was just solid paint, but it is printed on. I think the new eyes look a lot better. I feel like they're a little more detailed than on this one. They almost look just like black dots on the old one. But yeah, I do think I like the head sculpt on this one just a little bit more than on the old one. Even though most of this figure is reused from the Action Comics 1000 Superman, you do get a new upper torso piece right here. The chest has the Superman logo painted on instead of sculpted on. And surprisingly, I think the painted on version looks so much better than the sculpted one. I think the metallic red and yellow looks really nice, and I like how they outlined it with black, so it almost gives it a 3D look if you're looking at it straight on. I don't know why, I think I just like the painted on version better than the sculpted version. I also like how vibrant the colors are on this new gold label one. The Action Comics 1000 Superman, the colors were more muted. They were still there, but they weren't as vibrant, and I like how vibrant the new one's colors are. Another difference with these figures is the new version has this soft goods wired cape with the yellow S on it, and this one does not. This is a sculpted cape with no yellow S. So yeah, of course I like the soft goods one better. I think the wire that McFarlane Toys used for this works really well. It really supports the fabric really nicely. You can get it looking like it's blowing in the wind. I think that looks really good. You can get some really nice poses out of this. This is a nice sturdy wire. So that's really about all to go over with this figure, because all the rest of the sculpted details are still the same. The line running down the arm, the cuffs right here, and the boots, everything else is the same. Of course, it's just done in a more vibrant color. So now, let's go ahead and go over his articulation. So he has a ball-jointed neck that can look up all the way. He can look down just about all the way. He can move his head side to side very nicely. He has shoulders that can move out that far. But these joints right here are extremely crunchy. So yeah, on both sides they do move, but that makes a horrible noise. I might have to sand some inside this torso right here to give it a little more clearance. because man, that is a horrible noise when you're moving this around. He has a swivel bicep that can move side to side. He has single jointed elbows that can bend in that far. And I know a lot of people don't like single jointed elbows, but I think aesthetically they look so much better than double jointed elbows. I think this just flows a lot better with the sculpt and looks better. Though it does hit on his bicep right here and does hinder the articulation just a little bit. I still think it looks better than double jointed elbows though. He has ball jointed wrists that can move up and down and spin all the way around. He has a ball jointed diaphragm and waist that can move back just a little bit and forward just a little bit. Since this does use an older body mold for the most part, the articulation is pretty hindered right here. It does move side to side up here and at the waist very nicely. He has hips that can do a complete split. He can kick forward that far and back just a little bit. If you move it any farther, the joint will pop off, so that is a bit irritating. I was surprised to find that this joint does pop off if you force it. I didn't have that problem with the original one. So yeah, luckily you can pop that back into place. But yeah, I'd be very careful moving that. He has a swivel at the thigh that's a little bit hindered. He has double jointed knees that can bend back that far. Ball jointed ankles that can move down all the way, up all the way, spin all the way around, and toes that can move up just a little bit. But as you can hear, they make an awful noise when you move them. So now, let's do some size comparisons. So first up, here he is next to the Action Comics 1000 Superman figure, and this new gold label version one is definitely going to be replacing the Action Comics 1000 version. This is definitely going to be my definitive McFarlane Classic Superman figure. Here he is next to Rebirth Superman. Here he is next to Hush Superman. Here he is next to this Superman. I can't remember what it was called. I want to say it was just like Classic Superman or something like that. And I still really like that body mold. I just feel like that blue is way too bright. Here he is next to the Crisis on Infinite Earth Superman figure. And I definitely hope we get this body mold and this color scheme at some point in the future. I definitely think that would be really cool. Here he is next to Lex Luthor. And finally, here he is next to Nightfall Batman and Platinum Wonder Woman. And I think these three figures are the perfect classic trinity. I think all three of these figures look great and are going to be my definitive classic trinity from McFarlane. So overall, I would highly recommend picking this up because I think McFarlane Toys did an awesome job on this. And I think this version is actually better than the Action Comics 1000 Superman. This is definitely going to be my definitive classic Superman figure from McFarlane. I think it looks really good. My only real gripe is with the articulation. Since this is an older body mold, this is the very first Superman that McFarlane Toys did from the very first wave, so the articulation is kind of limited in some places. But other than that, I think this figure is really awesome, and is definitely the definitive classic Superman figure from McFarlane. So definitely don't miss out on this because it's actually a really cool looking figure. In hand, it is very awesome. So that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.